Erica, I love hearing you describe the origins of these different visualizations that are both in your energy dance work and are also in the visual art that you create. And you have one of your pieces right behind you. And it's just breathtakingly beautiful to see
Mhm.
like visual representations of these energetic fields that are created through this work. And I'm wondering if you would be open to sharing some of your art pieces so we can um, all enjoy that together.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So I'll share screen here. So, yeah, it's being a visionary artist. My art is very often inspired by my experiences with energy.
Mhm.
So these are some digital paintings. I've been leaning into digital a little more recently that really show what I'm talking about, what I'm doing with energy. And when I show these to people, they relate, people who are already doing this, who feel energy or who do energy work, they get it, they see it, and they're like, yep, I'm doing that. So it's really like I'm not creating anything really, right? These are images and my experiences are part of our innate ways of being. It's how our bodies work. It's how energy works. So you can see in these images, put yourself in there, put yourself in these images and you can imagine that energy flowing through the hands. And this is actually the center one is kind of like that bass drop blast off that with the Kundalini rising, this like the vibrations of the music bringing you up, 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 and that channel through the body. This is that toroidal field of energy. So yeah, it's really helpful to have my art when I'm facilitating the energy dance ceremonies
Mhm.
because it gives people that visual image like, oh, that makes sense. I can say all these words, but to really, be able to see and then close your eyes and visualize that for yourself can be really powerful. Um, Here's another piece showing about how I move energy when I dance, giving a bunch of examples. We can do this with groups of people. That's like the power of collective prayer, which I'll speak to a bit later as well. Becoming that expansive tree of life, like we are deeply rooted. Our feet are flowing energy portals into the earth, and we can tune into central energy centers in the body and ripple that energy out. It's kind of like the painting behind me as well. Um, just to get a little taste, these are some pictures of me dancing overlaid with that painting that we just saw. So you can kind of get a sense of how in our bodies we can move those energies and feel that torus, around us, move that energy within us. And become, conscious as the expansive beings that we are. We are always connected, we're always expansive, but, this is like my excitement is that we can consciously expand ourselves to really move that energy intentionally. So here are two acrylic paintings. Um, this one's called Circle of Support, and I created it to help us see again. I invite you to put yourself in the middle of the painting here. I created it to really help us see how much energetic support is always around us. And again, we can consciously tune into that, open to that, and invite that energy in using, sacred geometry. Again, this sort of both straight line and spiraling energy that's always flowing through us, this sphere of protection. And I'll offer a brief practice where we're going to really tap into these energies. So take take a photograph in your mind of this painting specifically, because we'll use that later. This one is called Holding the Earth in Prayer. And that is from a very exact, specific experience that happened on the dance floor, like at the end of a dance journey of an hour, hour and a half of dancing, I dropped into this really deep prayer. And the actual painting itself is much bigger. This is like a close-up, but you can see this column of light just, it's that channel that connects us always to the infinite, all that is. And, we can tune in, we can visualize the earth in our hands and pray, energetically holding the whole earth. Also, we can do that in so many ways. We can touch the earth and send that energy down. So yeah, this is that prayer for healing there. Oh, sorry, that this one's called the prayer for healing. They're all prayers for healing, right? Um, this is a painting that that's kind of one of my original ones that kind of set me on this path of really making art directly from my experiences as a means to invite people into that prayer for themselves, invite people to really embody that spiritual power and beam that energy out for the world. So this painting came through, again, it was a very specific experience that I had in a plant medicine ceremony. And this incredible woman, indigenous healer, leader, um, musician, just so much I could say about her. It was towards the end of the ceremony, and she dropped into just like a deep prayer. And I was so in it. Again, my arms just rose on their own. And suddenly I felt that I was holding my heart in my hands. Maybe zoom in a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, don't ask me how I have two hearts, but whatever. Holding my heart in my hands and visualizing the areas of injustice all around the world. And I was beaming this like heart-centered, infinite energy out to all those places of injustice in the world. And I had this moment of, oh, cool, I see this as a painting. I could paint that. And then this like, voice of doubt came in, oh, well, what's the point? I was like, again, super deep in radical organizing and like activism was what I was really putting in most of my time. It's like, well, what's the point of making this painting? Why? Like, it's just a painting. And then this like really clear insight came through that was telling me, if I create this painting and share it with people with an invitation for people to feed this prayer will be amplified from other people's embodied energy feeding the prayer. And so in that moment, I made a declaration to myself that I would make this painting and put it up in center camp at Burning Man that year and invite people to pray with the painting. And so I did, and that really set me off on like, okay, there is a reason to make art and it actually can bring powerful change to the world. Why isn't it going? Da-da-da. So here's a easier to see of the painting behind me here. This is the revolution. This is my vision of an Afro-Indigenous queer femme leading the way of a heart-centered, spirit-guided, earth-rooted revolution. You see all the people here gathering together. We have all the people united and also the ancestors and spirit beings with us, supporting us. We have the wild roses cracking up through the concrete. And I made this one earlier on in the pandemic. So it's also inspired by this idea of heart coherence and how even when we're kind of not in physical proximity with each other, that the energetic power of love and our prayers really can reach and touch people in an amplified way from a distance from wherever we are. And there's actually a few interviews in the series really talking about the power of that collective vibration and the power of frequencies. And then this one is also inspired from deep personal experiences. This one is called Surrendering to Your Divine Purpose, that idea of being of humble service, giving our hands as represented to like our work in the world to the divine, to source, to really surrender to what it is our calling in life, right? And not that we have like one calling or that it looks a certain way, right? But how do we live in a meaningful way called by, our passions and the inspiration that really drive us, like I'm so passionate about ending mass incarceration. Why? Like I don't know, but it's in me. So, what calls you, like inviting people here listening, what fuels you? What's that fire that enrages you or makes you want to, take to the streets, or what is, your creativity just bursting through? Like, how does that feed the world? And yeah, and when we do that surrender, it's also about the power and feeling that empowerment that comes through with that. Um, Here's a piece that is, again, from a specific experience on the dance floor, where after moving and cultivating so much energy through the body and, all this prayer and healing and flowing that energy, it just like dropped into this moment where I was just like pure presence of beingness as a channel. I know one challenge I have in all of my work is like I try too hard. It's possible to try too hard. It gets in the way, right, of being that open channel. And so this was that moment of just pure surrender and being that channel of light that was beaming this energy out to the world, like just becoming expansive, infinite consciousness itself, which maybe folks have experienced in their own way, maybe through plant medicine, maybe through breath work. There's many powerful modalities, maybe through meditation practices of, infinite varieties. So for me, that's my excitement, is to do that through dance. And it is about holding that vision too for the world we want to see. I think everyone here listening can align with that desire for a world where all beings can thrive, right? And we can feel so far away from that, but what is this world where all beings can thrive, where we can be in a place where, like, indigenous people all around the world, teach us, where everything is sacred, every life is sacred and precious, everything is divine. We all belong, right? And as beings, in this really violently messy world of so much colonization and racism, white supremacy, the militaristic violence and domination mindset is so infused and really, like, it's just so pervasive in the world. And so this was a painting I made, envisioning, holding that vision of a free Palestine, thriving, connected with the earth, grounded, rooted. This is that dove of, this dove that's not passive, right? This is not a dove of passive peace. This is a dove of active peace, defending the people. And I'll stop talking there, because I'm going to show a time-lapse video of myself sharing or painting this painting, which is painted with my moon blood. And yeah, we are going to, I invite people to, how do I add the sound? There we go. I invite people to really, take a moment, take a deep breath, and be with me in this prayer for the world. Whatever your political beliefs might be, whatever types of news that you're ingesting, like, know that this is a prayer for all beings to be respected and honored, with a right to live in peace and harmony. So here we go. Wings, claws, and tail extended, this dove uplifts the people, defended. Like ancient olive trees, roots deep in the sand, people belong to the land. Land where daily prayers caress the earth and dancing feet stomp in rhythm. Land where both nourishment and sacred burial grounds are found. Blood, blood soaked in the earth, so many precious lives. May this blood nourish rebirth, where everybody thrives and live to tell their stories beyond comprehension, each atrocity a ripple of devastation. O infinite divine love, pierce every heart turned cold, to release the poison of hate and domination, for this dove brings peace, and peace requires liberation. Freedom from genocide and colonial occupation, freedom to thrive in healthy self-determination, So we co-create a world guided by love and respect, where we celebrate the sacredness of life and protect. The people are crying, raging, and rising for this freedom, and every body shrouded in white grows as seeds of wisdom. Wisdom that stops cycles of supremacy and ends all colonization. The people of Palestine must be free, so we rise for collective liberation.
Hmm.
Mm.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all for receiving that, witnessing that, and oh, holding that prayer for collective liberation. And yeah, it was quite a birthing that came through me to paint this entirely with my menstrual blood in a ceremonial way. Oh, I think you froze, Sonia. Hopefully you can hop back on. Um, in the meantime, I'll share, I have these poster prints available as a fundraiser for buying eSIM cards in Palestine. And yeah, it's a poster to be that vision, right? You know, in addition to seeing the pain and atrocities in the world, we also we need to center our actions around that heart-centered vision for healing, for transformation, to really guide, right? Actually, Sonia, you were saying right before this call, welcome back, that, you know, we need to dream and see
Thank
that
you.
of where we're going in order to go there,